response worked very well.
Question number 10, Mike Sabin.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. My question is to the Minister of Veterans Affairs. What is the government doing to improve the support and recognition given to veterans?
The Honourable Nathan
Speaker,
Guy.
yesterday the Prime Minister announced its response to the Law Commission's review of the War Pensions Act 1954. The package adopts in full or in part 132 of the 170 recommendations and provides new funding of $60 million over the next 5 years to implement these changes. The major changes include new and updated legislation replacing the War Pensions Act of 1954 with the introduction of 2 coverage schemes, an increase of 5% plus the annual CPI adjustment forecast to be around 1.8%, bringing the increase close to 7% that would occur from the 1st of April next year for the war disablement and surviving spouse pensions, and increased eligibility for support services such as home help and lawn mowing, and also new veterans' weekly income compensation for veterans under the age of retirement and unable to work. I'm proud of this very comprehensive package.
Mike Sabin.
Supplementary to the Minister, Mr Speaker. When will these changes take effect?
The Honourable Nathan Guy.
Mr Speaker, the 5% increase, including the annual CPI adjustment to the war disablement and surviving spouse pension, will take effect from the 1st of April 2013. The bill to enact the other changes is currently being drafted and will be introduced to Parliament as soon as practicable. We will listen carefully to veterans and other members of the public through the Select Committee process, and our aim is for most of the changes to begin from the 1st of July 2014.
Andrew Williams.
Mr Speaker, supplementary to the Minister. As the Government has announced that it will adopt 132 of 170 recommendations of the Law Commission review of the War Pensions Act 1954, what do the other 38 recommendations encompass, and what is the ongoing status and future of those remaining 38 recommendations?
Not wanting the Minister to speak too long in answering that, the Honourable Nathan Guy.
Yeah, Mr Speaker, happy to go through those in some detail. The members come into my office this week. I think that would be the appropriate time to have that discussion. But in essence, the Cabinet made a very good decision to support veterans who have done an amazing amount of service for New Zealand. And we're very mindful of the fact that the Law Commission took 3 years to draw up 170 recommendations that were uncosted. Of course, 12 government departments had to work through that process of doing the robust costings, and I took the proposals through to Cabinet and believe we have ended up at the right place in supporting veterans into the future.
Point of order, Andrew Williams.
Yes, point of order, Mr Speaker. We don't need to have the full details, but even a brief
flavour. I accept
of what
the points with the member's point. He asked what were the 38 recommendations that weren't picked up by the government. Now, I didn't want the Minister to go through all 38, but some flavour of some example might have been helpful to answer the question. Honourable Nathan Guy.
Go through all of them, Nathan.
Mr Speaker, some that were unfortunately not included were an increase in the funeral grant, which currently veterans do get a funeral grant, but it is less than currently ACC recipients get. And Cabinet also made a decision that one of the recommendations was free medical care for those over 80, and in essence Cabinet decided that we should be supporting veterans in need, not in particular to the age. So that gives you a flavour for some of the examples that we couldn't fund, but I think the important thing is, in very tight economic times, that this is a very good package of $60 million supporting veterans now and into the future.
Supplementary question, Andrew Williams.
Supplementary to the Minister. How will the Minister ensure improved outcomes for veterans when many of those affected state that Veterans Affairs New Zealand, otherwise known as VANZ, continue at times to provide inconsistent advice, to provide responses that are often illogical, poorly timed, abusive, offensive and lacking any duty of care to the veterans?
The Honourable Nathan Guy.
Well, I don't agree with those assertions, Mr Speaker. It was interesting when this government came in at the end of 2008, there was a backlog of 11,820 claims that was waiting to be considered. That is an embarrassment. They've been waiting for 6 months. Now Veterans Affairs, under a decent government regime, have turned that around, and now we don't have a backlog of claims. So the member should stand up and applaud the direction of this government to ensure that we are supporting veterans.
Question number 11, Grant Robertson.
Mr. Speaker, my question is to the Prime Minister. Does he have confidence